Hey guys.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome. Yeah. So Katie's gonna. Oh, you're the Hare.
Oh yes.
I always call you Katie. You call me
yeah,
Lorianne.
But well, yeah. If you don't know, I think I put in parentheses on our page who each of us is.
Oh, did you?
If you don't know,
Okay.
you
All
have
right.
to watch the videos. But
yes, exactly.
anyways, so we were just sitting here talking, and we got the dog back in the picture. Mm-hmm. They don't want to leave her alone. It's so cute.
As soon as I start recording, this one shows up.
Oh, that's true. She's always coming over.
Yeah.
So we were just sitting here talking, and I've had this big aha. It's been probably over a month or so more when I was really digging into trying to really look at myself and see the things that I needed to work on. And I had this big aha where when you do the worksheet with the work, if you're familiar with Byron Katie, she has all of her worksheets are online. But her worksheet that I love the most is the one where it's Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. Because what we always do is judge our neighbors, right? We're always judging. We're always judging other people and labeling them and not realizing the judgment is really ours. And when you're looking at somebody and labeling them as, whatever, I'm just, a couple of these are popping up. They're stupid, they're ignorant, they're selfish, they're disgusting, they're whatever label it is. When you do the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, you go through several different questions. And one of the questions right before the bottom is, what do you think about this person? And you just let loose. You just start writing it out, whatever you think about this person. And if you know Byron Katie, you go the 4 questions, and then you do a turnaround. And the turnaround is really what the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet is all about, because all of those things you think about this other person are all what you think about yourself. So when I go and start saying these things about these people and even my loved ones that, I don't want to think these things about, but I do label them that way. And it's no fault of their own. It's really my work. It's my issue. That when I start looking at those turnarounds, it's like, oh boy, I really think that about myself. I did not know I thought that about myself. And so now when I'm in those situations, when I'm seeing a post on Facebook or seeing the person that cut me off or, someone says something to me or I see something happening, what do I immediately do? My ego lens immediately just goes, well, they're an idiot, and then I think, okay, when have I been an idiot?
Yeah.
When am I an idiot? Or when do I think that I'm an idiot? And then really sitting with that and then saying, are they an idiot? They're not. And am I?
Are you
an
idiot? No.
I'm not that either.
Right.
It's just our labels that we put on ourselves. The people outside of us are just projecting them back to us like they're mirrors. And we can't ever know what those people are. They can never be those things. And neither can I.
It's so good. I mean, because there's a couple of layers there, I think. So one is they show you your own limiting beliefs, right?
Yes.
So if you're having an experience and you're always finding that you're running into idiots.
Yeah,
right? I just run into idiots everywhere
all the time. What's going on with that?
Again, it's bringing you back and saying, what do I think an idiot is? There's something about me that I think is idiotic.
Right.
What is it?
What is that?
And then again, to get to, and how is that not true? Because if it's not true for me, it's not true for them.
It can't be true for them. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, it's the process of not only, okay, I keep running into these selfish, narcissistic people. Am I selfish and narcissistic? And sometimes I think I am.
Yeah.
Is that even true?
But is that true? Yeah, you have to question it. You just question it all, because when you're putting it out there, saying it's them, you ask the question, is it true? And I always come up with no. Right. They can't be. And then I turn it around to myself. Am I those things? No, I can't be those things. But what is it in me that feels that way? And then you find out, oh, it was from a childhood experience or something. But in reality, when you ask the question, is it true? It's not. So
yeah, I mean, I mean, it's really interesting because I think there are times when I can come across as selfish.
Yeah.
Or
yes.
Fat. Coming across as fat today. But, you know, like the reality is, does that make up me?
Right.
Can I be that in a moment and have it not be completely me?
Right.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But I don't
Like
have
you
to
can
own
see
that.
it. No.
That's not who I am.
And attached to it.
So then again, it goes back to what you were saying earlier about you don't know them. Like you won't ever know them with strangers. But we've talked about this before. Do you even know the people that you're intimate with?
Yeah.
Because if you haven't done that work of like identifying how you label your husband, how you label your kids, and how that's just a reflection on you.
Yep.
If you haven't done that, then you haven't met yourself.
Right.
And therefore you haven't met them.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it's just all a process of getting to know yourself.
Yes.
And a person can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves.
Exactly.
And
yes, for sure.
If they haven't met themselves very deeply, they're
not going to be able to
only
see that.
be able to give you the superficial version of you, right?
Yep.
All of the things that you know about yourself that are the worst things, they will see those things because that's as far as they've met themselves.
Right. Yeah. It's
tough
quite an interesting
work.
process. It is tough work. It's not easy to see that. And I just remember, though, for me, when I first figured that out, it was like, oh, wow. This is what I'm thinking about myself. What can I do about that to change that? What can I do to see that, okay, it's not them and it's not me. Where's this coming from? And do I have to believe, like, they're really just thoughts, they're experiences from our past that are just kind of resurfacing themselves to just kind of be felt and seen and then let go, because it doesn't define us. It's not who we are.
Well, can you talk about that process a little bit? I mean, can you give an example of when you had to really think about what does it mean that I believe this about myself?
Yeah.
And is it true?
Oh, there's so many. I'm trying to think. Well, let's see. Well, thinking about being an idiot. So this just popped in. So I was not a very naturally, well, I'm saying this now as a limiting belief, but I really truly believed this when I was younger, was not a naturally smart student. I worked my tail off in school because I wanted to prove that I was a good student by working really hard, but I did not get the A's and B's on tests. I literally would fail tests all the time, D's, F's, and I remember having to get, in particular, the science class in middle school. I would study my tail off and I'd always fail. And his policy was we had to get the signature of our parents. And I remember after so many times, I would wait till my mom, she was at work, but then I would wait till almost bedtime, put the test on her pillow so she would sign it. And so I wouldn't have to interact with her because I felt so ashamed that I was an idiot. Like I really thought I was an idiot.
That was the label you put on yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did my teacher do that? Absolutely not. Did my mom do that? Absolutely not. That was my label that I put on myself because I felt, again, going back to that previous video we've done about fitting in, is I felt like if I didn't do this and fit into this, to the system of getting A's and B's, I was an idiot. And I truly believed it. So now, as I'm having these experiences as an adult and I'm seeing people who are acting idiotic, it's just another way for them to reflect back to me and be like, okay, you need to really look at that. Are they an idiot? Are you an idiot? No. You have to be able to see it and allow it to just be there and feel it. Feel that feeling of when you felt you were an idiot. And then just letting it go. Because it's not me. It's not who I truly am. So,
and it was just a label that you put on it.
It was just a label that I put on it.
To put on a feeling that you were having.
Yeah.
Which was just that needed love and like, you know what, it's okay. There's a lot of different ways that we define what's smart and the way that we come around the world. But
and I only thought it was this, and I think we're all taught, like, if you're not smart in school, well, you're not smart. And it's, oh my gosh, what a that's so hard to live up to when you're
yeah.
not that smart and you can't live up to that.
Right.
Well, shoot. Well, I give up. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot
Then
of kids do.
I get the idiot label.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they give up, and then there's something wrong with them when it's like, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You just don't fit into that little mold of what they think that you're supposed to be. And I didn't know that. And I don't think anybody could tell me that that's what I was thinking. Like, even when I'd be like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. She'd be like, I know, I'm sorry, you know, but she didn't know how to help me in that situation. So now
hard.
I get to help myself.
Yeah.
In
now
that
you have to
situation.
do
Now
that.
when I have to have those feelings come up. Anyways, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say that. And then when we label somebody else, I mean, isn't that what's happening? They're not fitting into the mold
Yep.
that we wanted for whatever. For what?
Whatever that reason is, the mold is, whatever.
Yeah.
Experience.
Some expectation that we had that, again, is there just to show us how we need to come back to ourselves and do our work.
Yeah. And know that we're okay.
Yeah.
And know that we are not those things. We can't ever be those things. They're just labels. They're just things that we put out there in a situation from the past that we attach to.
Yeah. And if you had a minute to talk to somebody, you'd hear their story just like yours.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then you'd be like, oh, wow, I jumped to a ton of conclusions.
Yep.
And
Oh, I've done that so many
Makes
times
sense.
where you
Right.
just, what's the book doesn't fit the cover or whatever,
Yeah.
that saying is like, you immediately judge that person just by the way they look. And then you find out later, like, oh, I was completely wrong.
Right.
What was I thinking? But
Yeah.
that's just our lens that we have of what we think of ourselves. And then we put that on there. And then we end up finding out later, oh, that was not anywhere
like
near what I was thinking.
Right, yeah.
So
So,
boy, it's
and
a
the
big
more
lesson.
love we have for ourselves and
the more we
patience.
can give out to others, because it really is that love that's going to be reflected back.
Well, and do you ever notice, like, I notice this a lot in my parenting, where when I am down on myself and judging myself harshly in my brain, I get on my kids.
Oh,
and I will find the
absolutely.
smallest little things, and I have developed awareness of it. I still will fall into the trap.
Yes.
But, like, it was really bad when I was, like, trying to lose weight, and I would step on the scale.
Oh
And
gosh, that is the
all
worst.
the feelings of, like, you didn't do it. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, you're a failure. Okay, like, these are the thoughts that are coming in my head.
Yep.
And then what do? I see my kids as those things, right?
Absolutely,
Like,
yes.
and I feel justified.
Yep.
Like, well, you didn't pick up your stuff. You're a failure.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't. Why do you always keep doing this? Again, you're whatever. You can't do it.
Well, I would always, and then it was funny too, because they would come in and they would say, like, we'd be getting ready for dinner or something, and I put a dress on, and of course I didn't feel right in my dress or whatever. They come in like, oh, Mom, you look so great. And I was like, oh, thanks. I wouldn't take the compliment.
Right, you can't own it.
No. And then, for the rest of the night, I'd be just in a funk.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, I don't feel good, so you're not going to feel good.
Right,
And I'm going to make it so that you don't feel good.
Yeah.
And finding all the faults with everybody else because
Yeah.
I felt I didn't have, or I had all these faults with myself, or thought I had all these faults with myself, and I'm going to blame,
Yeah, exactly. Again.
And then they're like, what's wrong with Mom? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, sorry.
I know.
Now I can catch myself. And know that it's just another way for me to be like, okay, it's not about them, it's about me.
Right.
Look at yourself, it's okay. But it's so easy to fall into that trap.
So easy.
Man.
But you have to, like, when I would, be in those places.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I'm like, okay, wait. You don't feel good.
Right.
Let's process that before you go out to your family.
Yeah.
And make them not feel good, or
Right.
make them pay for it because you're
Yes.
not willing to be like,
That's
"Whoa,
exactly
that's
it.
just a
Making them pay
moment."
for it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes.
It's just a moment here that it's like, that's not true.
No.
It's not true. You're working on something. Today your expectation didn't get met. It says
Right.
nothing about you as a failure, as a
Right.
person.
Right.
It's just you had an expectation, it didn't get met. There's no value in that except that it is what it is.
Right.
And so processing that, doing that work, letting it go.
That's a big thing, I think.
Letting it go.
That's probably the hardest one
Yeah,
is letting it
exactly.
go, because we're so attached to it, because it's such a habitual thing too, that when we get on that scale, or when we put something on, or when we look in the mirror and we think these thoughts, it's such an habitual thing because we're so used to the same old thoughts and same old patterns. But now I know with me, I can almost catch it now. Like I want to go down that path.
Yeah.
I want to go down that path of being like beating myself up and then beating up everybody else around me. But now I can catch myself. It's not comfortable. It does not feel good because I don't want to feel it.
You have to stay with yourself.
You have to stay with it, and that's
not
not
project
fun.
it out.
Yeah, and that's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
So
I know. It's tough. That's really good, though. I mean, it just develops awareness. I mean, what are we doing right now?
Yeah.
We are practicing observing ourselves.
Yeah.
So that we can show up better.
Yes.
And
we can help our
families.
children.
Yeah.
Because, I haven't taught them how to do that. So now this is just me being able to learn all these lessons for myself and be able to teach them how to, when they're in those situations where they're thinking these things, it's like, let's take a moment.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about that person and why?
Yeah.
And it's difficult for them, especially I know I'm thinking about my oldest daughter because I'll kind of look at her as she's, yelling at her sister, and I'll come over and I'll just put my arm around her and she'll be like, Mom, what are you doing? And I was like, just put my arm around you. Like, I'm not trying to stop her. I'm not trying to, say anything. But she kind of knows, like, she'll just keep looking at me and then she'll look back at her sister and want to keep going and then she'll stop.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I want to teach her how to do it, but I don't want to let's also just do it for her.
Right.
But I want her to be able to see, like, when she's in the moment, that vomiting of labels.
Oh, yeah, all of it coming
and it's
out.
like, do you see that this is how you're saying about yourself? You're saying this about yourself, but you're blaming your sister for it. Let's take a moment.
Yeah.
Like
well, I mean, and it's so interesting. Just touching someone like brings them back to the moment, doesn't it? Where they're like, oh wow,
and she
I
will
was
stop.
Here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because she has to be in the moment, not in her head, talking to herself about why she's right. She has to come back with you and look at you and be aware.
Yeah, like, oh crap, what did I just do?
Yeah,
and then she'll stop, and it's gotten a little better, but yeah, it's difficult because she doesn't want me coming over there and hugging her.
No,
that's the last thing she wants. She wants to keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
She wants to just keep going,
and that's what we all want to do.
Yep.
We all want to just keep going and make it other people's fault.
Yep.
My kids don't pick up.
Yep.
My kids don't do their homework
right.
or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
My husband is,
whatever he's doing
about that. Yeah. But yeah, exactly.
It's so easy
Instead
to
of just
going.
being like, no, this is mine.
Yep, it's all mine. And that is very difficult. So
I love that. Good tip, though. I mean,
I didn't think about that till just now when you were saying, oh yeah. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
It's always what we do. And what are we supposed to do? Is love thy neighbor?
Yeah.
But do we?
No.
No.
Why? Because we have a hard time.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because it's really us. And once we can judge ourselves and see our not judge in like a negative way, but like see that it's us, observe it, feel it, let it go, then we can actually love our neighbor and truly love them because that's what they are and that's what we are.
Exactly.
We're not these labels.
Oh, and it's so much more joyful.
It is.
To just be compassionate with people and just
be like, oh,
give
you're
them
going
the
through some
benefit of
stuff.
the doubt.
Okay, I know exactly how that feels.
Exactly.
And why would I just pile on all my crap onto you?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
We're all just struggling here.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So I'm trying
Good
to
stuff.
get through it. Yeah.
Thanks.
That was good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.